A long spell away from home ends this evening for the Greenville Triumph as they host the West Coast Voyagers Central Valley Fuego, presented by Fox Carolina. Welcome one and all to this broadcast on ESPN+. I'm Mark Schoenster, and I am joined, as always, by Ross Davenport here as we take a look at where these two teams sit on the Hopkins Eye Center standings. Central Valley Fuego, it's do or die time for them at the bottom of the standings. Meanwhile, the Greenville Triumph right in the thick of that jockeying for position in the seeding.
Yeah, only one win in their last 5, but the teams above them haven't exactly been picking up a ton of wins. They have been leapfrogged by Knoxville, but only 2 points as well above 7th, so 3 points tonight would be huge for the Triumph.
They were able to get 3 points last weekend, and it's partially, in part, to this growing dynamic between Zion Scarlett and Liam McKinnon.
Yeah, Liam and Zion, Mark, it sounds like a new folk rock group getting their act together in the local bars of Portland. But listen, Rick Wright had Scarlett playing wide most early this season, but he did play a little bit of center forward. Knew he had the potential to move into the middle, and his pace caused all sorts of problems for the Red Wolves last weekend. And the move centrally coincided with the return of Leo Castro to health and certainly sparked this Greenville offense at the right time with that big win last weekend. And now teams just can't focus all of their attention on McKinnon, which is obviously great news for him.
Liam McKinnon with a hat trick last week. 2 of those goals scored, or assisted by Zion Scarlett. All 4 of his assists this year have gone to Liam McKinnon. Meanwhile, on the Central Valley side of things, a tough result on Wednesday, and when you have a tough result, you lean on your veterans, the guys with experience, to steer the ship back in the right direction. Yeah,
obviously a lot of changes in Fuego last season. Carrera Garcia, one of the few guys back, the veteran leader of this Fuego midfield. Great technical ability, awareness. My coach Michael Elias said this week, we'd love to see him more on the front foot, seeking forward passes a little more often. And listen, with the leaky Fuego defense, he might have to provide a bit more in the final third if he wants his team to take anything from this contest.
Well, will Central Valley find an answer after the result on Wednesday, or will Greenville pick up steam from their own throttling they were able to conduct last weekend? It's the Greenville Triumph and Central Valley Fuego preparing to do battle for the first time this season in any competition. Lineups at kickoff are up next after this break.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we are proud to be a family-owned practice serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. At Wood Creek Dental, we believe in quality care and exceptional service. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. We've invested in modern technology and have created a relaxing atmosphere for your comfort and peace of mind. We prioritize your experience in our calm and caring atmosphere. Our commitment to providing you and your family with exceptional service is at the heart of everything we do, and our patient-centered approach builds relationships based on trust and confidence. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
We welcome you back here to Paladin Stadium for this match presented by Fox Carolina, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here on ESPN+. Let's take a peek at our starting lineups. First off, for the home side, brought to you by Pella Medical Center. Hey, when you get 5 goals in a game, you don't mess with that.
Yeah, Rick Wright, it certainly isn't going to mess with things. No changes, which means Evan Lee back at center back again for the second straight game. Was spending most of the last year or two at the defensive midfield spot. One change to mention on the bench, Sebastian Velasquez back on the bench for the first time in a month as he continues to recover from his hamstring issues. They do have a week off next week, so we might not see him tonight, or if we do, it won't be for long.
Christian Garner between the sticks this evening for the Greenville Triumph as we look over to what Michael Elias' side is trotting out with. they do have to make tweaks because a red card suspension did send Brian Bustamante out for this game.
Yeah, they came over on Thursday after that midweek loss to Lexington. 4 changes for Michael Elias, Zuluaga, Vasquez, Vinberg, and Bustamante because of that red card suspension are out. In come Aviles, Apollon, Benson, and Lemus.
And once again, looking to go a more conservative route in this game. The goal on Wednesday was to be measured, and they were executing that in the opening stages of that game. And then, of course, things went a little off the rails there for Central Valley Fuego over in Lexington. We'll talk more about that as this game goes along. Our head official for this evening's match, Kyle Johnston.
Yeah, Michael Elias was in relatively high spirits midweek in our chat with us, all things considered. Didn't mention in lineup, but Jermaine Jones missing a 3rd straight game, the head coach due to personal reasons.
First home game since August 30th for the Greenville Triumph. So 3 weeks since the last time the home side has played here in the confines. As this one is underway, Central Valley Fuego in the black. And of course, Greenville in the green. We welcome you in here on ESPN Plus as this one gets underway. Let's see how these two teams start out in the front of this one. This one knocked away. Chapa Herrera, another one of those returning players. Started in that game last weekend against Chattanooga. A 5-2 victory on the road. Looked a little different in that game as far as on the attacking side of things. Greenville, a team that's been pretty methodical this season moving down the field, but they're a little more aggressive, a little more over the top. You mentioned Zion Scarlett shifting in more centrally, and he was right at the forefront of those efforts going over the top. Rick Wright said that his side's definitely been working on it, but part of it is just getting Zion to read the situation. And they said, look, though, when Leo Castro comes back, we're simply a different team. And then you add in Chapa as well, and he's the engine on the backside of that. As this one's whipped in by Omar Lemus, and it's claimed by Christian Garner.
Yeah, we talked to Rick Wright about varying things up offensively, and then the first thing Michael Elias said when we asked him about Greenville was he says, they're hard to predict. They've changed their game a lot at different times this season. Obviously, part of that is because of the injury situation they've had over the last couple of months. Obviously, many key players out for weeks at a time, but now relatively healthy, just waiting for Sebastian Velasquez to be back, and they should be at relatively full health.
And they're going to be, if not already, having some tough decisions to make game in and game out. And a lot of players performing in the middle of that pitch, which was definitely a strength coming into the season that was highlighted. Just how much depth is there in the middle of the pitch for the Greenville Triumph.
Perhaps talk about it later, but the Greenville Triumph could clinch a playoff spot tonight. They need to win and get a bit of help elsewhere.
You're in a good position, though, if that's the conversation being had here when we still got a couple more weeks of action in the regular season.
Yeah, we know that's not the goal for this Triumph team. Certainly want the top 2 spot if they can get it.
As this shot sprayed wide by Lion McKinnon. I tell you what, Ross, Lion McKinnon has had his hot streaks this season, started out of the gates in great form, hit a bit of a slump. I think whenever he is having a bit of a dry spell scoring-wise, I think he'd love to find a fixture against Chattanooga. He's had some marvelous success against them, coming off a hat trick and an assist last game. He's the first player to have not only a 4-goal contribution game once, but twice, as this one is taken by Alfredo Midense, and it's in the arms of Christian Garner.
Yeah, I think Greenville caught Chattanooga at a bit of the right time for them. I think they're getting healthy, and Chattanooga obviously been giving up goals in bunches, 7 in their previous 2 games. just losing far too many in a row. And still only 2 points out the playoff, though. It's going to be an interesting race for that last spot. Tormenta 7 points back of Noco in 7th. We have a game in hand. There's another free kick here.
I had the chance to talk to Ian Cameron recently, and he said the league has cut itself into 2 mini leagues at this point in time. You've got the guys who are fighting for those home playoff spots and will settle themselves out in the top 7. And then you've got the rest of the league all fighting and clashing for that final spot.
Yeah, Spokane and Noco with 3 wins in their last 5 have really pulled away from that playoff line. Tormenta, Lexington, Richmond all with 4 wins now coming into tonight.
Polak drills this one inside, bounces around a couple times, then it's cleared away by Tor. So let's touch base on it. 7-1, Lexington defeated Central Valley Fuego on Wednesday in Lexington's 2nd ever home match in their new stadium. Talking to Mike Elias about the game, he said, look, Lexington had 8 shots on goal and 7 of them went in. It was an awesome performance from Lexington. And the stats on our end of things just wasn't the same. Felt they executed the game plan pretty well for the first 15 or so minutes. They kept shape, had good possession. He said, but just those phases in the penalty areas where we've had lapses of concentration. He said our season would be a lot different if we were more composed in that spot throughout the year.
Yeah, listen, it was one of those games. I think it's caught Fuego. We mentioned Greenville catching Chattanooga at the right time. I think Lexington have started to play really well. Obviously, catching Fuego in one of the, well, I think there's been many moments of chaos in this club's history, unfortunately, so far with the situation with Jermaine Jones. And I think tonight, they can come out and hang on here, hang around. I never know what might happen.
Ups and downs of a season and how you can respond to them. Really be what is a difference maker between a team that can make the playoffs and one that can't. Greenville had their fair share of bumps in the road. You mentioned they haven't been able to get a ton of results as of late, but they're still right in the thick of it due to their performances early on in the season, and now they've got a win under their belt, looking to get back into shape as they get back to health.
I will correct myself with the Greenville lineup. One change in goal, that will be, they continue to try and figure out who the #1 goalie is. I thought Rick Wright might have figured it out by now, but he continues to rotate quite a bit with Rankenberg and Garner. Rankenberg did start that 5-2 win. Garner in goal tonight.
Heckenberg in a tight space, somehow still has the ball though, despite 3 Greenville players around him.
Chris Heckenberg, one of those guys. There's plenty of talent on this Fuego roster, Mark. Let's see if they can get it together. We talked, Mike Elias mentioned the individual mistakes. They really need to limit them.
That one glancing off of Omar Lamous last, and definitely frustrated with the end result of that play.
Yeah, I think he was, I'm going to say he was slightly upset at the non-call. I'm sure what Ryan McKinnon thought was a shoulder to shoulder. Omar Lamous disagreed quite vocally.
Corner kick here for the Greenville Triumph, the first of the evening. Anderson sends this one in, headed down by Castro, but straight to the hands of Carlos Aviles. So a change in goal for both of these teams in comparison to their last lineup. It's Carlos Aviles and Christian Garner up against each other here.
Yeah, nice floated free kick by Anderson. Castro couldn't quite get enough on that. A couple of defenders around him. See the main target on these corners, Castro. Rick Wright said he'd still like to see a few more goals from Leo. Obviously now back healthy.
Was the primary goal scoring option last season for Greenville. Ryan McKinnon, of course, has taken that mantle this year and has put himself back tied up top of the table as far as goals scored this season. Pollen bringing this one forward, knifing it inside. Central Valley with some numbers forward here. Heckenberg takes the shot and it's wide. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Acumen IT. First off, on the Greenville Triumph side of things, we're able to pick up some steam last week, scored 5 goals against Chattanooga. So the message for Greenville in this game is to keep their foot on the gas and make sure that they don't let up. Try to pick up some momentum here going in the final stretch of the season, Ross. Meanwhile, for Central Valley, they're able to hang on for the first 15 or so minutes in that Lexington game. Now the goal is to find that early composure and then maintain it for the rest of the match, especially when you add in the context of how that game ended. Can you come in, make sure you don't get too brash, too emotional in these early stages, and keep this game intact? An early goal conceded here would truly be detrimental to them. So if they can have some comfort in this game, get settled in, do a lot of good for the visitors.
Yeah, listen, Mike Elias was very positive in his call this week, but that's what a coach is going to say, right? He's not going to come out and say, hey, we're a complete mess. But yeah, an early goal could certainly get some heads down in Chattanooga. They're not getting their calls early here from referee Carl Johnston. See if Greenville can take advantage.
Anderson taps this one back to Jamie Smith. And that's popped out of bounds for a Central Valley throw. And that 5-2 win against Chattanooga. Although a lot of good things from that performance for the Greenville Triumph. Rick Wright did talk about the fact that Chattanooga went down a man in the first half, and when a team goes down a man, the defensive shape doesn't change that much. But on the attacking side, how does Brandon Fricke find himself in a situation where he's 1v1 with Mael Malongo of all players? They conceded a goal to make it 2-1 going into the halftime break. And he said the halftime talk was stern, but it changed the mindset. They were able to get back on track in the second half and end up outscoring Chattanooga 3-1 in that second window of time. Scoring 5 goals is always going to turn some heads, but conceding 2 goals means there's room for improvement.
Yes, it's been a while since Lee and Fricke have partnered each other at the back there. Obviously, one of the best center-back pairings in this league for at least 2 or 3 years. Split up with the move of Evan Lee to defensive midfield, but as Rick Wright said this week, he wants to get the best 11 players on the pitch, and if that means having Evan Lee drop back into that center-back spot, obviously at the expense of Nate Schultz now, who on the bench. And so many talented central midfielders, and now they're getting healthy. He wants to get him on the pitch.
This one's sent over to Omar Lemus. One-on-one with Polak. Midense now. He's going to take the shot. And it whipped around not too far off from Denbor Benson. And it's going to be a corner kick for Central Valley.
Right start for the visitors. Look comfortable. A couple of long distance attempts on Garner. This one got a deflection somewhere. It wasn't far past Christian Garner's right hand post. He was very casual. That one was only a couple of feet wide. Midense, we've seen what he can do in his short USL League One career so far.
Midense trying to feed it to the top of the 6-yard box. Cleared away. Mentioned the positive start here for Central Valley. Like Leah said, look, Wednesday was tough for everyone. We stayed for an hour in the locker room afterwards. Look at Rick Wright on the other side of things. Looking to plant some seeds of doubt in this Central Valley team. Mike Leah said that everyone had their say about the match afterwards, and it was good. It's a good, heavy conversation. And he talked about how tight-knit the group was, and as a coach, after a game like that, you want to see some fire from them, and they've got that fire in the short window of time they've had between that game and now, of course, part of 2 legs of a road trip. Apollon takes the shot in that one. Bending not far off target.
Just going off Apollon Pate in the midfield or at the back, playing at the back tonight, but getting forward plenty already so far. In the channel here, not for the first time tonight, skinned Hayden Anderson. That one was just curving away. Not far away.
The veteran from Boston, Ashkenov Apollon. This one is booted back into play. Castro. And that one glanced away from him by Nemhard. Corvino. And it's knocked away. Make sure to visit GreenvilleTriumph.com to check out the latest merch and kit launches. As the Greenville Triumph push ahead once again. Hayden Anderson. And it rolls out for a corner kick. What Hayden Anderson was anticipating. And of course, you have to wait for the official decision from the referees in order to actually confirm that. So from the right corner flag, it's Hayden Anderson. Pereira stands close by, but he did that on the other side, and Anderson opted to loft it into the penalty box. Anderson lofting it in, and it glances off the forehead of Brandon Fricke and out for a goal kick.
We're having a fun discussion on Twitter this week about Hayden Anderson. Holds the Greenville Triumph record now for goals by a defender, quote, in a single season. I said, not even a defender. He's played a lot of wing back, obviously, and now playing midfield, but listed as a defender in many places.
Yeah, I have him on my roster as a defender from the beginning of the year. I haven't really bothered to update it on my sheet, but the fact of the matter is he's a winger.
D/M. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's going to fall to Anderson here. Could not get that one by Apollon. And then he gets tripped up in the process.
Yeah, it's clearly going to be one of the fun battles to watch tonight between these two, Anderson and Apollon. This near side of the field.
Nemhard rolls it over. It's Clayton Torr. Aviles boots that one up after feeling some pressure. Not a lot of foots touching the ball at the moment. A lot of feet, excuse me.
I knew what you meant.
Grammar can be hard sometimes. Jose Carrera Garcia to Heckenberg. And he'll launch that one down the field, trying to pick out a corner.
You see Denver Benson gesturing that he wanted that ball at his feet. And Greenville have been working a lot on not being so susceptible to the ball over the top.
So defending it on one end and utilizing it on the other hand. As always, the Reedy River Riot in attendance here on the left-hand side of the field.
Give a shout out to the Fuego crew watching tonight at the Crow and Wolf in Clovis. Long way away in late afternoon soccer.
Apollon going down, and maybe a free kick for Central Valley in the process. Fans, download the Fan Saves app and follow the Greenville Triumph for access to exclusive deals at your favorite restaurants and breweries. Here comes Central Valley. Mariona cutting to his left, but Jamie Smith seals off the end around there.
It's an interesting bit of acrobatics by Jamie Smith. Normally got to block the ball feet first. Jamie decided that time to go head first. It worked.
Corner kick taken quickly. Carrera Garcia plays it to Midense. Let's tap inside from Mariona. Couldn't get it past Fricke though. And now Scarlett will just play it up the pitch to get it out of a dangerous spot. Watch the USL Jägermeister Cup final between Forward Madison FC and Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC, as the tournament cup is hoisted by the inaugural winner on Saturday, September 28th on ESPN+. Excited for that one, Ross?
Should be a fun one. I hear you're doing that game.
Yes, sir. See you there next weekend.
Certainly the potential for plenty of goals if both teams decide to go that route. Obviously, sometimes in finals we get cagey affairs. This being the first Jägermeister final, obviously both teams good positions in the league. I think they'll go for it.
Not to mention it would be their first opportunity to hoist some silverware by either side of them. And when you talk about goals being scored, Northern Colorado have been bagging goals throughout that tournament.
So keep you abreast of all the other scores tonight. We've got a couple of goals elsewhere. Richmond have taken a 1-0 lead over Lexington. If that result holds, Greenville will not be able to clinch a spot tonight in the playoffs. Chandler O'Dwyer, 55th minute there.
Lemouche shoots, saved by Garner.
Madison, which I think started a little late due to some weather issues in Wisconsin. They're up 1-0 early against Spokane. Obviously, neither of those results really. Actually, I think Greenville will love that Madison game to finish as a draw.
Midense! What a hit! Alfredo Midense lets it fly from distance. 1-0 Fuego on the road.
So casual, Mark. He just sort of let rip. Christian Garner couldn't do anything about it.
Alfredo Midense, known more for the assists that he's accrued throughout the season, decided taking matters into his own hands was the right course of action here.
Scored a couple in the cup. A goal earlier this season, a 1-1 draw with Richmond. We've seen them threatening from distance. That's just top quality, top draw, top corner mark from Midense. You can see exactly from the yard lines how far out it was. 30+ yards. I would say at least 30 yards. He was just off center, 25 yards from the goal.
As this one is loose, Scarlett gets denied. It's an excellent sliding challenge from Clayton Torr. Meanwhile, a collision on the other end of things. Deshaun Nemhard, along with Aviles, have collided.
Castro involved as well. Oh, yeah, Castro certainly got a piece of Nemhard, pushed him into Aviles. And then what a sliding stop by Clayton Torr to deny Zion Scarlett. Castro down.
It would have been the most immediate of immediate responses here from Greenville, but Clayton Torr making a huge play in a compromised moment. So we've got two of the three players up now, Nemhard along with Leo Castro. Now it's a matter of if Carlos Aviles is going to be okay or not. Just saw his team go up a goal here. And that's a pained look on his face.
I think they do have is a very capable backup in Zuluaga. League One experience. Looks like Aviles may be okay to continue.
So a hectic moment inside Central Valley's penalty area. And Aviles, who's donning the captain's armband this evening, back up on his feet. He will be getting a corner kick here after everything's said and done.
Carlos Aviles will be hoping he doesn't have to come out for this one. Shaking his hand a little bit. I think he took a shot in the midriff as well. Seems to be moving all right, though.
Hayden Anderson awaits from the left corner flag as Kyle Johnston ensures that everyone's all right and back in fit shape to play. Nodded away by Benson after Fricky got a piece of it. Pollock searching for Jamie Smith there. Cleared away by Heckenberg. Well, that demonstration from Alfredo Midense fits right into what Rick Wright said about this Central Valley team. He said they've got some really good players. Mentioned they have to be ready to play against a skillful side, but was hoping that they'd be the ones wondering what Greenville were going to do in this game. Which he mentioned, Ross, is what Mike Elias told us later last week. Greenville team that's got unpredictability to them as a goal scorer. And Alfredo Midense is now also in the books.
He missed the first couple of months of the season. Didn't really break into the starting lineup on a consistent basis until late July. But it's superb. Since then, so many first names penciled into the lineup. That goal showed exactly why.
Yellow card brought to you by GSP Airport.
Central Valley's number 20, Alfredo Midense, in the 26th minute.
Castro just trying to set that one loose. Leah said this is a Greenville team that are well organized throughout and playing a way that wins games in this league. They're looking to get the best of Greenville here in the first meeting of the season between these two sides. Ross, in preparation for this game, went looking to see, okay, what happened last time they played each other this year, only to realize that this is the first meeting. No Jägermeister Cup game, no regular season game in the past. Of course, with the regular season structured the way it is, every team plays each other twice, a home and away, and then you get extra matches in the Jägermeister Cup, but these two teams not having faced each other in that competition.
Yeah, it was a strange scheduling quirk. I'm not going to ask what happened, but normally when you have a balanced schedule like this, you play everybody once and then you play everybody again. Not the case here in USL League, of course. You can't do things normally.
So they'll play each other for the rest of this one, and not too far in the future, they will meet again.
Yeah, 2 long road trips to the West Coast for Greenville still to come.
On the other end, here come the Triumph as this one is looking to be poked towards net by McKinnon.
He wants a corner, but he's not going to get it. He went for it. I think he went for it with his right foot rather than his left.
So Lion McKinnon tied for the league lead in goals scored. He had that mantle at the beginning of the season, and then Juan Carlos Obregon came into the fray, past him. But then Obregon had that pesky thing called national team duties, and so that slowed him down a little bit. And Lion McKinnon getting just the second hat trick of the season last weekend. Mariona able to play that one centrally, and it was not properly cleaned away for the moment. And they were able to take care of it, Greenville, as Scarlett holds things up. Then he's thrown to the ground by Clayton Tort, and that will be a booking.
That's a good foul, though, by Clayton Tort. Scarlett was off to the races with Castro to his right and McKinnon to his left, and 2 or 3 defenders to beat. That's a good foul by Tort. That's the kind of yellow card you love to take. Misjudged the bounce a little bit. Tort whiffed at it. Good turn by Scarlett. Tort knew exactly what he was doing. Textbook professional foul by the center back.
Central Valley's number 15,
Now they're
careful the rest of the way.
in the 28th minute.
GSP Airport yellow card for Clayton Tort, his second of the season. In league play, that is. take this one. It will be Herrera. And upward by Nemhard, and now Midense can knock this one away, and he plays Siobhan John Brown. Plays it right back. It's an excellent little 1-2 between the two of them, stretching down the field. Siobhan John Brown with the cutting pass towards the penalty marker, cleared away by Tyler Polak.
The pass by Midense. Brown screaming down that right wing. Polak was back though to help out. He had a bit more time, I think, than he thought he did. Just didn't have to smash it into the stands. See if the visitors can make him pay.
Jose Carrera Garcia was in the vicinity, but not right up against the ball. Service claimed by Garner. As we approach the 30-minute mark, the difference in this one, an individual moment of brilliance from Alfredo Midense. The Honduran man, 22 years old. Whistle's blown into that collision. Aiden Anderson going down to the ground. You mentioned it earlier. That matchup between him and Apollon. Another chapter.
That was very clumsy from Apollon there late. Plenty of pace in that challenge as well. Got the back of Anderson's leg. Apollon didn't come off well either. He's down for the count. A little bit like Anthony Joshua there earlier tonight in the boxing.
I wonder how many people know what you're talking about.
There has to be some boxing fans out there. Mr. Joshua was face down in the boxing ring. Apollon face down on the firm and turf. As we have a 2-0 lead for Richmond now. Joao Gamero, so doesn't look like we'll have any Greenville playoff clinching victory here tonight.
So as of right now, following the 7-1 victory by Lexington against Central Valley on Wednesday, Central Valley are up 1-0 against Greenville, and Lexington are down 2-0 against Richmond. Goes to show you just what can happen in this league any given game.
Yeah, Richmond back above the playoff line now. Hold on there, despite that negative 10 goal difference. So Tormenta, if they get back above there tonight, they just started out against Charlotte. 4 to 6 games remaining for all these teams after tonight. 2 league contests this season. See the lowest we've ever had. Cup filling in those gaps. Obviously, I think we'll have a few more league games next season with all the teams joining. It's going to be exciting times. Doing a bit of feng shui, moving things around.
He's been given the leash to do what he needs to. Has that throwing ability.
Oh.
And it's knocked away, but
Yeah,
definitely was a little bit.
Taking any risks there. Was Alvarez. He just put his leg against the post and made sure it didn't go the other side of it. It's a little bit awkward.
Certainly a curious situation, Ross.
He got his job done.
Anderson once again from the right corner flag. Drills this one in, and Castro wasn't far off from it. And they'll get another crack at it.
Apollon is down, I think. Not sure if it was the ball that hit him there or if it was a bit of Castro, but
actually appears to be Midense.
Midense down, sorry.
Have to remember, this is a team from the West Coast who had to travel over to Lexington and then a quick turnaround from the game on Wednesday to play here this Saturday.
A few nights away from sleeping anywhere but your own bed. It's never ideal, but smart financially, obviously, just to continue the trip in. But Dense still feeling that one. We've all been there.
Herrera Rick gets it short. Lee has it poked away from him for a moment. Now Anderson plays it inside, headed towards goal, and it loops into the hands of Carlos Aviles. Aviles bouncing the ball a couple times. Now we'll boot it down the pitch. Good to see that he's back feeling all right and can play out for at least the rest of this half, but you would imagine his intentions are the whole 90 minutes. Midense. Tried to sneak that to Siobhan John Brown, cleared away, knocked down by Castro.
Yeah, 3 shots on target for Greenville, but they're crediting Zion Scarlett with that one that came right after the goal. I'm not sure if it certainly was a great block by Clayton Tort. He didn't really force Carlos Aviles to do much at all. The shots have both been tame efforts by Leo Castro. So certainly a disappointing first 35 minutes offensively for Rick Wright and the gang. But a good defensive job by a team that has given up obviously goals galore this season. Obviously missing Bustamante tonight. He started on a Wednesday at the back. So another change there. Certainly a good performance so far in this first half. Michael Elias has been.
Evan Lee moving the ball up the pitch, which he's become more accustomed to doing in his, well, his typical position. I would hesitate to call it his new position anymore, given this is nearly his second full year having played in more of that holding midfielder spot, but he is in the center back position, which is the old stomping grounds next to Brandon Fricke. To Herrera. Herrera on the field to Hayden Anderson, out of play. USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September with a matchup of top teams from the Eastern Conference. Detroit City FC takes on Player Shield leader Louisville City FC in a Sunday afternoon clash. September 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Corvino winds up for a shot here, and that one looks to be through the uprights. If not, it was close to it.
Yeah, that was a bit of a waste because he had Scarlett and Castro ahead of him in good positions. Corvino just snatched it a little bit. We know what he can do from distance, but that one was not close. Certainly not his best decision in the final 30. Perhaps would have been better off just looking for a little slide pass through to one of his attackers. And the chance goes begging for Greenville.
A lone goal in this game scored by Alfredo Midense in impressive fashion. Jamie Smith gets that clearance wrong there and headed along, intended for Benson. It's a great touch from him. Jose Carrera Garcia slipping it through for Midense, but couldn't keep it in. Now Anderson playing that one up ahead. Scarlett has it knocked away from him. It'll be a deep throw in for Greenville. Forward thinking pass there from Hayden Anderson. Zion Scarlett on the other end of it. That was the formula for many offensive chances for Greenville in that last game against Chattanooga. Anderson with the long throw. This one headed away, right back to him. Herrera, that's a lovely little ball one time. Mariona gets the better of that exchange there. Gets it out nicely. Player has some pace to him. Gets it back over to the left for Alfredo Midense, out of play. Greenville looking to get that ball over the top more for Zion Scarlett. Zion, we mentioned it in the open, had 2 assists in that last game and looked like the best player on the field, at least in the first 45 minutes of action in that game against Chattanooga. I want to ask Rick Wright about what's happened that has brought this progress along in Zion here at this portion of the season. It's been a combination of things, but one of the big factors has been Liam McKinnon has taken him under his wing and has been giving him some tough love to the point that they've actually needed to cool off Liam McKinnon's tough love. He's been pretty harsh at times of a critic for Zion Scarlett, but it's all for the sake of trying to help him improve his game. This one, it's cut inside. Fricky knocks it away.
Yeah, that's Rick Wright. Obviously, Liam McKinnon pretty young himself. It did surprise him a little bit. He's really stepped forward as the mentor to Zion Scarlett. Certainly worked out great last week. Partnership has been a little quiet so far tonight.
Those 2 assists last week were set up so easy for Liam McKinnon to finish. Anderson playing that one for Scarlett, but was just too far ahead of him. Holland gets that one to Jose Carrera Garcia. A stunted pass there required the emergency button to be hit as it was booted away. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
A moment of brilliance separating these 2 teams so far in this one. 5 minutes to find another one, perhaps. Castro was just waiting for that whistle. Contact from behind by Carrera Garcia.
Jose Carrera Garcia, our player to watch this evening for Central Valley, and he's a player who's been a great influence on the guys this season as a leader on the Central Valley team. Mike Elias said he's a guy who's always reinforcing what the coaches are saying, and on the field he's a good linked player. Had a little spark, and we talked about in the open, they're trying to have him be a little bit more forward thinking at this time, search for that killer pass to open things up. And although he's an established player, a veteran, he's 29 years old, he's one of those League One staples. As this one's lobbed in, and then the offside flag goes up. Zion Scarlett did well to corral that ball, but starting from an offside position means nothing to come of it.
It's been a frustrating night so far for the men in green. They haven't been able to unlock this back 4. Done a superb job just keeping everything in front of them. There's another than that 1/2 chance with the collision, and then Zion Scarlett blocked by Clayton Torr. It's been a very quiet first half for Greenville in that final third. Now a chance perhaps.
It's once again Zion Scarlett playing it back to Liam McKinnon. He's able to get there, trying to juke by one player. It's knocked away. Siobhan John Brown on the ball now. Eckenberg had to be pretty smooth there in order to not give the ball away in a dangerous spot. We're approaching halftime between these 2 sides. You've said it, I've said it. It's worth reiterating. Alfredo Midense with a wonderful solo effort. It's the reason why Central Valley is ahead 1-0 in this one. Both sides have had some decent opportunities throughout this game though, and that was the one that, maybe not it was the most obvious of chances, but it was the one that was scored on.
Got an early goal in Statesboro. Tormenta 1-0 lead over Charlotte. Pedro Fonseca didn't really strike there. Another result that Greenville needed to go their way if they were to clinch tonight. They've got more important things to worry about here. Down 1-0, approaching the end of this first half.
Charlotte Independence, after having that long unbeaten streak, and now staring at 3 straight losses in all competitions. And Castro taking some contact there. Ref says it's all fair game. Aviles down the field as Edward Benson took a moment to get back up, but his team's on the prowl. Midense taking some contact from Lee. He's able to get it away, but Marley Moose had to nearly break out the splits to keep that one. So 45 minutes down. I'll get 3 more tacked on here.
Has indicated 3 minutes of stoppage time for the first half. Your attention, please.
Central Valley Fuego looking to go into the break with the advantage. As it stands right now, it should be quite the answer and quite the place to get a result. Don't forget, it's a Greenville side that very much is in that conversation for the fight for one of the top 2 spots. You can get a win on the road. Huge morale booster for this Central Valley team. Side that feels that they're a better team than that record would indicate, as that one bounces over to Carlos Aviles. It's always an interesting dynamic when 2 teams play each other for the first time in a season, because even though it is September and so there's loads and loads of tape on these 2 teams, you can't really actually predict what it's going to be like to play up against a team until you're actually on the field with them, which leads to a new, unique concoction of talents and mindsets and strategies. Javon John Brown whipping that one across, headed away by Jamie Smith. The Moose looking to see if he can get by Polak, but the veteran is more than prepared for it.
Well, I think certainly one coach will be a lot happier than the other going into the half here, regardless of the score. Central Valley Fuego have had the better of things overall in this half. Just been a little sloppy at times with the final product.
Herrera.
They haven't made Carlos Aviles do much of anything at all. Still time for perhaps one more attack here.
Jamie Smith rolls it along to Anderson. Anderson's cross, not quite what he was looking for. And unless Aviles decides to try to hurry this one in, may not be another opportunity for either side. Some good halftime content coming your way after this. We'll look at the highlights from last weekend's bit of action, including that Greenville 5-2 win against Chattanooga. Central Valley did play last weekend, so won't be catching any highlights from them in that one, but this is where the first half concludes. Alfredo Midense making his presence known, separates the visitors from the home side. 1-0 Central Valley Fuego with the lead. And they're looking to leave Greenville with 3 points on the road. 45 more minutes to go in this one, though, as both teams go to the break. We'll see what kind of adjustments come at the start of the second half, but halftime content first on the docket here on ESPN+. We'll see you on the other end of this break. 1-0 your scoreline after 45.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we're proud to be a family-owned practice serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
South Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's reliable, that stays affordable. To do this, we're investing in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that South Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
We welcome you back here for halftime from Paladin Stadium. 1-0 your scoreline. Central Valley Fuego with the lead on the road. Let's take a look at the sounds and sights of the Week 20 highlights.
Rolls it across. Ballard, opportunity here on the left foot, and he puts it away. Down a man, but up a goal. Right off the bench and onto the score sheet. Richard Ballard out of his feet. And a fantastic left-footed finish. Here's Lou Young now driving this into the end line. A great ball, and that header is just wide. Out of nothing. Lou Young driving that one to the end line and finds Yannick Yankum in the box. Saka Moran and Greenville hard defending chance for Gomiro. Wide open net! In on the road! Gomiro with the goal in the 75th minute. The official one came in the 26th minute. We'll see if Joao Gomiro, who has the ball right now. Another shot, save made by Pack, leaping to his left.
The flash of pass in on the chase. Zion Scarlett to Liam McKinnon. Longo roaming down this near touchline as that ball's in behind. It might be something. Scarlett laid off. It's McKinnon again. Playing onto it with the set. Chattanooga looking up for Malongo, who has it in tow. Mael Malongo. Mael Malongo. A lifeline for Chattanooga. Corvino, and wide to Polak. Liam McKinnon, turn towards goal and trickling in just inside the posts. Fleet feet, Leo Castro, sweetly over. Anderson, swept in, McKinnon! Routine, Zakowski, whacks one in, and touched home. Off Anguiano, takes it towards the byline, settled in the box, and it looks a winding run to the ball. Ropapamenta gets one back. They all count.
Enter for Dos Santos, just shy of the 40th. Ostrom available, scramble in the area, turnaround shot. finds its way through. Off of 38 appearances, Powder scores, equalizes, and we're level at 1 apiece. 10 minutes into the half. Header falls to Dolabella. Conga. Conga gets past one, gets past another. Now goes Conga, gets past everyone. Conga! Noko attack the area, chips it up. King couldn't get the swing. Second chance for Powder, deflected and scores. We're tied. Tries to go again. Goes for Rodriguez. Rodriguez settles, shoots off the post and out. Rodriguez keeps it alive for Conga. Conga. Conga! Oh my goodness! Lagos Conga goes ahead once more. The brace, the go-ahead.
That's a lovely ball forward. Fonseca turning on the burners. Pedro Fonseca still inside. He shoots. It's saved. Call to action for the first time this evening. Brooks Thompson. Lewis back across. Gonzalez taps it out to Waldeck. Derek Waldeck with a squaring pass. It may have glanced Josh Doan. A lot of exciting moments last weekend. We've got a lot of games happening here. We'll give you some score updates on the other end of this break. Now this from the USL.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it. We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Traffic. Yamazaki strike. Oh, Yamazaki! Boyce! That is a dazzler. Devin Boyce. That'll do.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
There's a new airline in town. Breeze Airways has arrived at GSP International Airport with nonstop flights to 5 cities nationwide. Enjoy low fares, no change or cancellation fees, and convenient nonstop service. Make your next trip seriously nice on Breeze Airways. Visit flybreeze.com to book your flight from GSP today.
We welcome you back here to Paladin Stadium. Some more halftime content on ESPN Plus. 1-0 your scoreline after 45. Central Valley Fuego with the lead on the road. Mark Schoenster and Ross Davenport with you here on the broadcast. So let's take a look at some of the news and notes from around the league. We touched base on it in the first 45. It is Jägermeister Cup final time next weekend. It'll be the only League One matchup happening. Everybody else will get the weekend off. They'll tune in to see which of these sides will be able to hoist their first trophy ever in the history of their program. We also talked about Lion McKinnon, which means we just got to address the middle one. It's clinching season. Union Omaha have locked up their spot, but which of these teams will lock up their first ever trophy in their club's history? Will it be the home side Hailstorm, or will a founding club in Forward Madison hit their first trophy in their program's history. Should be a good one between those two sides. We'll see if it's a goal fiesta, if it's a tight, close one-goal affair, if we go to penalties. Only one way to find out, and that's to be locked in on ESPN Plus a week from now. Meanwhile, this is what's going on around the league. A lot of goals being scored elsewhere. Forward Madison 1-0 up at halftime. 3 goals from the Richmond Kickers. Their game is all but over. Chandler O'Dwyer, Joao Gomiro, and Nil Vinyals all scoring in that one. Meanwhile, just 30 minutes in to that Tormenta Charlotte game. Those two always like to have good bouts with each other, Tormenta Charlotte, so not surprising that it's exciting early on in that one. Now let's take a peek at what's coming up on the slate in these next weeks. It's going to be a hot minute before all of these teams outside of the two playing the Jägermeister Cup play again. Next weekend off. Then once October starts, it's the final month of the regular season. These games just get more and more important. And with that, we've only got one more break for you here before we come back for the second half of action on ESPN Plus. 45 more minutes are on the docket between the Greenville Triumph and Central Valley Fuego. But before that, we have a break. Then we'll have highlights and stats for you. And we can get this one back and underway once again. We'll see you then.
It starts with only one tap to have total home control with Priority One Security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our one app, one tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
We're back here, and second half action is not too far away on ESPN Plus. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here for this matchup between Central Valley and Greenville. Let's take a look at what took place in the first 45 minutes to catch you up before we get things going once again. So first off, Greenville Triumph on a corner kick. The header bounced off the ground and into the arms of Carlos Aviles. Ultimately, not the most challenging of saves needed to be made there by the goalkeeper. Ashkenov Apollon with the first head-turning chance, but then this one, actually, we'll have to hold for a moment. Thought that was the Alfredo Midense opportunity. He's gonna be here in the highlights though in a moment. Couple of chances here for Central Valley Fuego, promising start. And Apollon leaves it for Midense. This is the one. Stutters, couple of crossovers, lets it fly, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, he turned Brandon Fricky inside out. And not just enough space to release this shot. You can see here, Fricky doesn't even stick his leg out. That's a quality finish, certainly a big-time contender for goal of the week. And that's what separates us here at the break.
As you see the stats, pretty even all the way down. You said so before going into halftime that both teams pretty even for the most part. Central Valley, the eye test probably passed more in their favor. And then, of course, the goal line test, which is the one that truly matters here, is what separates them from the Greenville Triumph at this moment.
Yeah, we'll see how long it takes Rick Wright to make some changes. Just have offensive options. Ben Zakowski, Rodrigo Robles on the bench.
Waiting for the go-ahead here now is Zion Scarlett, eager to get back out there and make things right for the home side. Our head official once again, Kyle Johnston, gives the go-ahead, and we are back in the swing of things here from Paladin Stadium. 3 weeks since the last time Greenville had a home game. Castro looks it to Anderson. Excuse me, that's Ben Zakowski who's out there out wide now. So that's one personnel change.
Yeah, Anderson had a rough first half. He spent most of it battling with Ashkenov Apollon, and crosses and corners just left a little bit to be desired.
That substitution brought to you by Spinks. Anderson out, Zakowski in to his spot.
One guy not in the 18 tonight for Rick Wright is Federico Estatric, despite scoring last weekend. He's the odd man left out. Rick Wright said it's hard now to break into that 18 with everybody getting a little healthier.
That one rolls through, collected by Castro. Did not hit that ball right, giving it away. Chapa Herrera interjects and wins it back for the Greenville Triumph. Herrera, a massive boost to get back. Rick Wright has felt his team has played better in the past 3 games despite some of the results, and talked about how the vibe is just different with Leo Castro returning, and then now they've got their workhorse back on the other end. Mentioned he could have probably played against Omaha a couple games ago, but they decided to give him a full week of training before he made his official return against Chattanooga.
Obviously had the hamstring injury earlier, came back, hurt it again. Sometimes happens with hamstrings, groins, etc. Don't let him quite fully heal. And I'm sure Rick Wright didn't plan on using Sebastian Velasquez tonight. He may have to if things continue in this fashion. Something could do with his creativity in the middle. It's just been a little lacking in these first 47 minutes.
Meanwhile, on the Central Valley side of things, look to keep applying the pressure. Goal scored by Alfredo Midense, a player that Mike Elias earlier this week described as pretty great. A player who wants to be on the ball to make a play, not only during the game, but he also just wants to have his foot on the ball at all times throughout the week. Touching the ball, passing it around. It's another young guy with his first exposure to the pros. And he told me the player's got lots of talent, but still has to solidify his spot on the team. Now has an assist on Wednesday and then a fantastic goal in this game.
Look at this challenge here. Probably just close enough to the ball from Deshaun Nemart. Slightly late. Got away with it. More sloppiness from Greenville.
Polak stuck in a corner with Siobhan John Brown, and it's only getting tighter. Kicks it away, but it's a throw-in in the attacking third for the visitors. Midense trying to return it back to Lemus, but didn't quite execute there. Scarlett still on it here. Zion Scarlett springs it ahead to Zakowski. Ben Zakowski one-on-one with Apollon. And Apollon able to get a toe in there, knock it away.
Zakowski looked up. Leo Castro was making a great run into the box. He got the other side of his defender. Here comes Dense again.
We'll play this one back instead as Central Valley Fuego will now look to get some more reinforcements forward. splitting the difference there between two different targets for the visitors, and lost possession, but only for a temporary moment.
It's been a concerning run here for Greenville. 6 games, just 1 win, and that was that last one against Chattanooga. So played some tough opposition in Omaha, Knoxville, Hailstorm playing well, and Omaha again. If this is a team that wants to compete for League One title, they need to get their act together quickly here. So they find themselves on the road in northern Colorado or somewhere like that.
Offside called on Siobhan John Brown. Two goals, 1 assist this year in league play for John Brown. You mentioned this run of form recently for Greenville, and I think what you said indicates why Rick Wright mentioned after they won that game against Chattanooga that the guys were happy with the result, but they were still very focused and locked in on what's in front of them. They know that 1 win is not enough to demonstrate that you've started turning the tides in results.
Back at those early wins against Spokane, Lexington, Hailstorm, 3 teams that were struggling themselves at the start of the season. Started getting things going a little bit.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Omar Lamous playing it forward, looking for Midense. Had a lot of space in front of him, Lamous, and going forward with a head full of steam. Just couldn't connect there right. Good idea there from McKinnon, but it's out of play. Looking for Leo Castro. Another look at Greenville head coach Rick Wright.
And as tight as this league is, heading into the playoffs, you have to think home field advantage is going to be so critical. Many of these coaches say any team in this league can beat any team on a given day, but when you're at home in the playoffs, hopefully get a good crowd behind you can certainly be the difference. Especially many of the battles around the middle there, the 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, etc., 4 and 5.
It is worth noting, though, Ross, first off, historically in the League One playoffs, home field advantage hasn't always been the prevailing story. And then if you compound that with the fact that Greenville's record at home this season has not been particularly stellar. As of right now, they are 3-3-3 in league matches on home soil.
Right, but would you want to play at home or at Madison, Omaha?
And that is where the counterpoint is, 100%.
In late October? I know where I'd rather be playing.
Oh, 100%.
No matter what your home record is. I'll only be seeing that orange ball mark.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Only had that broken out, what, once or twice in league history?
Yes. That Madison-Greenville match early in the season was a little snowy.
Oh, 100%. Definitely, by no means suggesting a team purposefully try to get an away game in a lower seed in the playoffs. But just some food for thought as we look at Mike Elias. Midense trying to take on Evan Lee. Pascal Corvino comes in for backup. This one back. McKinnon thudded into. Play goes on. Castro along the perimeter. Moose came in nicely, but then not the best of control from him.
If you didn't know anything about these two teams, Mark, you'd think that Greenville were the team in last place that played on Wednesday and lost 7-1. It's been a perplexing performance. Fuego just seem to want it more at the moment.
Quickly taken, Jose Carrera Garcia. There's some real estate now. Plays it to the left, Mariona. Takes the shot, saved. Garner able to take the brunt of the force on that one. Midense wins it back though immediately.
Rabona. See too many of those in League One.
Herrera trying to send Zakowski running. Well, like you said, Ross, it's been disjointed from Greenville here. And here's the chance from Mariona on the other side of things, the youngster.
He did well to create himself some space and stung the palms of Garner. Took it very well either side of him, and that could have been 2-0.
Corvino pulls this one out to Polak. It's a good turn from Lion McKinnon. And now he'll let it go to Castro. It's the cross. Holland does away with it. Greenville maintains possession. Polak inside for Scarlett. Zion Scarlett to McKinnon. McKinnon trying to sneak it back through.
Yeah, 6 bodies between McKinnon and the goal in black. As a result, all the way back to nearly halfway here. Just been the story of this season at points for Greenville. I think they've turned the corner and expecting them to put together 2 or 3 wins against quality opponents. It just hasn't happened. And tonight, after that win last week, you thought perhaps they would, now they're healthy, take that next step here, take care of the last place team in the league, and it certainly hasn't happened here as we approach the hour mark. Johnston with some splaining to do to Brandon Fricky.
A lot of some body language there from Brandon Fricky, getting a little more demonstrative as he discussed with our head official, Kyle Johnston. Now he's going to go talk to another official. He had his piece to say.
He went over to talk to Alex Shalazkov, the 4th official. About something.
Back up on their feet here, which is always good news. Siobhan John Brown looking a bit gingerly though as he makes his way to the sideline. Ricky donning the captain's armband, which means he does have the right to talk to the head official, but of course that doesn't always mean that you can just say whatever you want.
No. Got my ref certification today, and ref abuse was one of the big topics. If you allow it, you encourage it, Mark, is the term we were taught today. And referees at this level will not put up with much when it comes to verbal. I think Brandon Fricky just had a comment about a foul. I do see Brandon animated at times. He was very animated there on that one. Certainly had plenty to say.
Herrera chipping that one up ahead, booted away by Deshaun Nemhard.
Greenville will have to get the ball to Chapa Herrera's feet. I know by trade more of a defensive midfielder, but we've seen him spark things at times. Unless we see Sebastian Velasquez in tonight, this might be his role the rest of the night to try and get something going. Greenville offensive side of things.
Castro nearly sneaking that one in through to Zion Scarlett. Greenville applying some pressure here to Central Valley.
Here's Chapa. All right, getting around the ball. Densey disagreeing with that decision.
Lyon McKinnon and Tyler Pollack by the dead ball.
Tonight's winner is Phil Peacock. Congratulations, Phil, and thank you for taking the Bud Zero Safe Driver pledge. Fans, before the next home match, take the pledge.
60 minutes through. Alfredo Midense with the lone goal in this game. Lovely ball inside, though. Scarlett brings it down from the right channel. Corvino, his cross, bending in, nodded away. Lee serves it back up. Punched away in the follow-through. Zakowski with a step. He's tripped up in the penalty area. And a point to the spot from our head official. That means Greenville with a prime opportunity to level this game.
Carlos Avalos has to take some responsibility for this because he really should have caught that ball. He wasn't in any kind of under any pressure, under any traffic, and he decided to punch it. It wasn't the greatest punch in the world. Ben Zakowski off the bench to make an impact. Look at it here, the nod back in. He's got to catch that. Only one defender, his teammate in front of him. And Nemhard tried to sell that Zakowski wasn't touched, but you could see from the body language that he knew he was guilty.
And now Lyon McKinnon has the opportunity to take sole lead of the Golden Boot race for now, but I'm sure all that's on his mind right now is tying this game up. McKinnon steps up, and he scores. Put some air under it and pick the shelf.
Quality penalty there by Lyon McKinnon. My heart skipping a beat for a second as I thought that was perhaps going to go over, but top corner, just like Midense, obviously not quite as impressive as a goal.
12th goal of the year in regular season play for Lyon McKinnon.
Greenville need the break, the individual mistake from Fuego. 2 individual mistakes I'm going to give them on that one play. Greenville take advantage. Can they use this momentum now in the final half hour plus? Injury time.
That goal brought to you by the YMCA of Greenville, along with Lyon McKinnon. The Reedy River Riot setting up the smoke now. We are all level here after, as Ross described, 2 mishaps from Central Valley. Fuego have put this game at 1 apiece.
It's also the kind of point that Fuego, after that midweek match, may start feeling a little leggy. As well as in the brain as well, perhaps feeling the focus.
Fans, make sure to grab your tickets to the Tribe's next home match on October 5th. Visit TriumphTix.com to buy today.
It's an early game, as you and I discussed earlier.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Hopefully the fall weather is kicked in by then. And that's going to be a scorcher.
Not a bad idea. That ball slipping through for Corvino, excuse me. So the Triumph able to find an equalizer. Lyon McKinnon from the penalty spot has tied this game up. They've been applying pressure here. And they're rewarded with a point to the spot. And now, current leader in the Golden Boot race. Double check that Juan Carlos Obregon hasn't scored, and it is halftime there. So as it stands, Lyon McKinnon in sole possession on that regard. Midense on the other side. Lost real estate. And he'll go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, frustrated himself there, Midense. Used to this turf, sometimes it rolls a little faster than you think it's going to.
So we're going to get a substitution here. And in comes Velasquez for Leo Castro, presented by Spinks. So we're looking maybe for a substitution like this earlier on. But they have found that goal, and it is an interesting change. Leo Castro for Sebastian Velasquez, which I believe is going to change the dynamic up top in how these strikers are going to approach things, because Velasquez is definitely not an out-and-out number 9 like Leo Castro.
Certainly looks like that's exactly where he went, Mark, initially there out the corner of the screen. Very interesting change from Rick Wright. Perhaps he would have taken off one of his deep-lying midfielders in Corvino, or more likely Corvino than Herrera. See if the change works. Certainly raised my eyebrows for a second.
Only one way to find out what it looks like, and that's to see the rest of this game develop here. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Zakowski.
Did all the good work, and then not sure what that was. Looks like Scarlett maybe on his own up top now. Velasquez centrally behind him.
Would shift them more into that 4-2-3-1 that was the more standard order of procedures this season for the Greenville Triumph. Shifted to that dual top with Zion Scarlett and Leo Castro recently. Zakowski, side for Velasquez. Playing that one forward, fishing for McKinnon. Eckenberg lost his footing. Nearly an opportunity there for Velasquez to bring it forward. Not always ready for someone who's so solid like Chris Eckenberg to slip up in a moment like that. McKinnon going himself. Ryan McKinnon still all alone, swarmed by black jerseys, and eventually one of them's able to step in and take the ball away from Ryan McKinnon.
Yeah, Ryan riding the tackle as well, but he may have been better off going down after that initial contact. There's just too many black jerseys between him and the goal. See what he was trying to do, but it was always going to be a tough task. There's a look at Velasquez. Certainly someone Rick Wright was hoping not to have to use tonight. But as things stand, he's going to have to try and find something. Pull 3 points out the bag here.
McKinnon heading it along to Zion Scarlett, but Nemhard gets there just in time to knock it away, and he's amped about it.
Yeah, things getting a little sloppy now for the visitors. It was the home team early. Now under pressure, Fuego trying to find their composure. We're pushing more and more further forward now.
Velasquez. That one pops out to Zakowski, and he lets it fly. Not a bad take from Ben Zakowski.
Not sure Carlos Aviles knew much about that. He didn't move an inch, and that ball was maybe a foot past his far post.
Zakowski, 23 years old, a rookie this year, one of the young guys on the Greenville Triumph. Didn't talk to Rick Wright about young guys, but I did talk to Mike Elias a little bit about if it's easier to get a young player, and they've got several of them on this team who have gotten some valuable minutes this season. Midense, pretty young himself, but even had a couple of teenagers play matches this season. We may see some more of them as this game goes on. Javier Mariona out there right now, 19 years old. But if it's easier for players who are younger to get themselves ingrained into a system, hold on that thought temporarily. Ryan McKinnon pushing it forward now. McKinnon lets it fly. Not get very far though. Mike Elias was telling me that to an extent, yeah, he said seasoned guys can sometimes be set in their ways, whilst a young player could be hungry to learn and adapt to the style. But with that being said, you need to have balance between the two. Zakowski swings it in, headed away by Tor. You certainly see a balance of that variety on both these teams, both the lineups that are out there right now. Some experienced vets along with some young players itching to prove themselves. Want to give young players a chance, but they have to go out there and perform, because this is a professional team looking to find results at the end of the day. And usually a veteran is typically more capable of going out and performing on game day. So it's always give and take between a young, eager player versus a player with years under their belt.
Greenville, certainly with a squad built slightly different method. He's been big fans of the guys fresh out of college though.
Velasquez cuts to his left, sliding shot.
Not quite teenagers, but certainly guys new to the pro game. Seen that throughout the Triumph's history, especially at the striker position. Guys fresh out of college are making an impact at this level.
Garcia lets that one slip through. Polak clears it away. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Dense wheeling around the outside, plays it in. Tapped by Benson. Mariona trying to sneak that one through. McKinnon. Use it for Herrera. Now Velasquez. Take this one forward. Velasquez out to Scarlett. They tried to feed it back inside centrally, and instead it will be a corner kick. Ever since, you can say before they scored that goal, but especially since that goal has been scored, Greenville have definitely been the side who have looked the more promising to find a second goal in this game.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little more like Greenville Triumph from last weekend. Is it too little too late? Still plenty of time though here left.
Scarlett sending it in, header towards goal, claimed by Aviles.
Jamie Smith always hanging around the area in the corners, and the throw-ins knocked it back to Evan Lee there, but just couldn't get enough flick on it to pass this man.
So now for Central Valley, the question is, what can you change? What adjustments can you make to swing the tide back in your favor? Haven't made any substitutions yet, which some might see as rather curious, especially given some of the talent they've got on the bench that they have been subbing in. Is Zion Scarlett straight down the middle. Scarlett chased away from the ball.
And a heavy touch under pressure from Deshaun Namhard. Let him down there, Zion Scarlett. Just need to settle things down a little bit. It's hard to do though sometimes when you're going full tilt. Take another look at it here. He had him beaten for pace, Namhard, but Namhard did well. Yeah, that heavy touch there was the difference.
Namhard knocking that ball just beyond the reaches of Zion Scarlett when he needed to be taking a shot with it. Now Alfredo Midense takes a moment to get back up on his feet. Like I was saying, interesting to see that, especially on a short week on the road, very far from home, that no changes have been made yet for Central Valley. Jose Carrera Garcia Ball ahead, chested to be kept in play. That falls right into the breadbasket of Carlos Aviles.
So here, Vasquez certainly an option you'd think Coach Elias may turn to here at some point.
Looks like Kevin Garcia might be getting ready to go as Midense. It's dragged down by Tyler Polak, and you would think a yellow card is incoming.
One of the easiest ones in soccer history. Midense was dragging Tyler Polak with him. At least Tyler Polak with the wry smile. He knows exactly what he did.
To Greenville's number 3, Tyler Polak.
Here's a look at it.
Midense's a big lad. He's hanging on like a cornerback, trying to take down one of those big running backs, trying to power it in from 10 yards out. Dragging him over the goal line with him. Not sure how much football Tyler Polak played as a youth. He was more involved in this kind of football from a young age.
He was channeling his inner Furman Paladin there for a moment.
I was right about that 12-yard line, trying to drag down Derrick Henry.
Jose Carrera Garcia and Alfredo Midense sit behind this dead ball. Midense blocked by Herrera. It was a spread out 3-man wall there for Greenville, and it does the trick. It's a precarious moment as it rolls back.
Greenville were trying to get the break going the other way, I think, quickly as they had numbers, but instead it's going to turn into a Fuego corner. Too many corners tonight.
So a substitution going to take place for Central Valley here in a moment.
Fuego haven't had any corners, actually. It's their third of the night. Greenville with 6 already.
Jose Carrera Garcia plays it in, takes a bounce. Now Velasquez will tap it back to a defender to properly handle that one. Zion Scarlett showing off some speed there as he looked to catch up to it, but couldn't quite.
On the way in Omaha between Union Omaha and Knoxville. No goals there, just past the half-hour mark.
So the first substitution of the day for Central Valley Fuego. Denbor Benson comes out, and the birthday boy, Kevin Garcia, comes in at the old age of 16, Ross.
Should be celebrating with cake somewhere at the arcade.
Instead, he'll be going up against the likes of 30-year-old Evan Lee, 32-year-old Brandon Fricky, 32-year-old Tyler Polak, and the younger 26 Jamie Smith on that back line for Greenville, as Kevin Garcia will surely be looking to go on the attack here and create and finish opportunities for Central Valley.
Saw Garcia score recently for a rebound. Right spot at the right time. Part of being a teenager in an experienced league like this is just being in the right spot at the right time, and when to be there.
See there at the top of your screen, some time wasting from Denbor Benson as he made his way off the pitch, and he's been given a yellow card presented by GSP International Airport. The first personnel change for Mike Elias here, and it's the youngster Kevin Garcia.
I talked to Mike Elias about the presence of the youngsters and how they relate to the older players. He said it's actually some of the outside fringe squad players who really mentor the youngsters. He said this group is, as a whole, likes each other, which is always good to hear. They don't really have any outsiders. So, an arm around a 15-year-old at times is always good.
I always wonder what would a conversation between the likes of Kevin Garcia and Ashkenov Apollon sound like?
What is that piece of technology you're playing with, son? Probably on his phone far too much. They'd probably tell him that, I would imagine. That's what I tell my teenagers.
Omar Lemus will throw this one in as he does so lightly to Midense. Velasquez. play this one back. Jamie Smith now. Long ball up to Zakowski. Zakowski one-on-one with the Pollen, and Pollen opts to just knock that one out, slow things down here.
Yeah, Pollen with the yellow card, remember, had to be careful there.
Jamie Smith plays it towards goal. And a goal kick incoming.
The XG sometimes doesn't tell the story, but it certainly does with the second half. Greenville 1.02, Fuego 0.8.
Fans download the FanSaves app and follow the Greenville Triumph for access to exclusive deals at your favorite restaurants and breweries. One scoreline here, 80 minutes through, 10 more plus stoppage time to go. A beautiful goal scored in the first half by Alfredo Midense gave Central Valley the lead. But then, here in the second half, Greenville started asking some questions offensively, and eventually it led to Ben Zakowski getting tripped up in the penalty area, and Liam McKinnon tying this one up from the penalty marker. But will either team find a game winner here in the last window of time? Lemus playing it back across, turning for it, Midense. Mariona now. Jose Carrera Garcia, can they get a shot off? Now Garcia, the 16-year-old, lays it to Lemus. Siobhan John Brown shoots and scores! Excellent placement from Siobhan John Brown. And Central Valley Fuego back up top once again. It looked like a moment squandered, but they kept their composure. And Siobhan John Brown slots it home.
And certainly against the run of players, the second half have gone, but good quality bit of possession. Right through the legs of Pascal Corvino and into the far corner. Clinical finish by Siobhan John Brown. After a great bit of possession and build-up play by the visitors. See Tyler Pollock getting sucked in there. Trying to help out in the middle, and that allowed Brown to find enough space to finish coolly into that far post.
It looked for a moment there, Ross, that there was a prime opportunity, but then it appeared that that opportunity had gone to the wayside. But Central Valley kept cycling through. A lot of different players getting a touch on the ball in or just around the penalty area, and eventually they found a player who had a window, and he threaded that needle.
That kind of possession there from Fuego was just something we really haven't seen from Greenville, despite their domination of the second half, especially in the center of the field mark.
McKinnon, one-timer across, and
Lord.
it's back into the net. A catastrophic mistake levels this one moments after Central Valley had the lead.
So what Carlos Aviles can do is put his hands up as another individual mistake costs the Fuego. That reaction tells it all. Nembhard, his second mistake of the night. He gave away the penalty earlier. Great one, first-time ball by McKinnon. It looked like Nembhard thought Aviles was going to come for it. He didn't, and it just hit Nembhard and went in. Not sure what Nembhard was trying to do, whether he was trying to play it back to Aviles to smash it down the field. Either way, it was a complete disaster.
I really do wonder if he didn't mean to touch the ball at all, and then it just glanced his foot. Seemed to be what his reaction was in that given moment.
So it would have taken a brave move by Aviles because the ball was traveling with pace. Nembhard perhaps didn't know who was behind him, lack of communication perhaps between him and Aviles. With another break and perhaps a chance to pull 3 points out of this somehow.
Yellow card been issued to Jose Carrera Garcia as Velasquez curls this one up, and the header will go off target. So after a well-worked goal for Central Valley, just moments later, it's a huge mistake on the other end, which puts us right back where we were about 2 minutes ago. So now in comes Carlos Anguiano. He'll sub in for Pascal Corvino. That substitution brought to you by Spinks, and will also be our adjustment of the match brought to you by Upstate Spine and Sport. Change for Rick Wright in a tie ball game. Will this change give Greenville the chance to take all 3 points? Both of their goals having been scored from behind in this one. What a whiplash of events here between Greenville and Central Valley. Tied up at 2 apiece. And sent forward for Scarlett. Zion Scarlett. Dragging this one back, Anguiano. Getting his feet on the ball for the first time. Anguiano once again. Playing it out wide. Jamie Smith rips this one into the penalty area. Velasquez continuing to push, and he collides with Jose Carrera Garcia. He called for the foul.
Just got there a split second too late. He's trying to turn that ball over. Certainly an interesting few minutes there, Mark.
Yeah.
We've seen some bizarre goals throughout our USL League One careers. That one's certainly up there.
Carlos Aviles will end up being the one to take this, so then more bodies can go forward for Central Valley. That one falls down nicely. Garcia out wide. This one ripped across. And Tyler Pollock needed to be careful that he does not replicate what occurred on the other end of the pitch.
He's already had a couple of goals this month, almost had a third there. It's a good interception in the end. Pitching in once more, but leaving John Brown again open. Looking for some help from his teammates.
Corner kick for Central Valley. Whipped inside, takes a bounce. McKinnon knocks it away. And then Zion Scarlett from behind wins it back for Greenville. Whistle blows, and it's going to be another set-piece opportunity for the visitors.
Good work by Lemouche there. New Greenville. You see his boot came off on that challenge. Greenville were trying to get that fast break going again. They haven't had too many of them tonight. Just did a good job of stepping in front. Could pay the price though. Never saw Achilles tomorrow.
See Mike Elias, interim man in charge, working on assessing the situation.
That did earn Zion Scarlett a yellow.
It's his 4th yellow card in league play this year.
Frustrating night for Scarlett. He hasn't had much space to run into. He's been tracked by the Fuego defender, it seems, all night. Great job by that Fuego backline tonight.
Jose Carrera Garcia, the lone man behind the ball. Good looking service headed away. Tracked down by Heckenberg. He'll leave it for Apollon. Mariona doing well with the ball at his feet. Mariona gets fouled. A lot of set piece opportunities here as we approach 90 minutes. Both teams have had some highs and some lows in this game. But will a third goal earn 3 points for one of these sides? The question is, can one of them get that third goal to earn 3 points? It's Midense and Carrera Garcia once again. Carrera Garcia takes a shot. Not a bad looking one. He's already scored from a free kick this season.
Goal in Omaha. Charlie Ostrom opens the scoring at the half-hour mark for the home team.
Five minutes of stoppage time tacked on. 5 more minutes for one of these teams. Find the back of the net one more time, get all 3 points, or else it'll be shared between the two of them. What has been only been a wacky game at times.
That was an interesting decision from Kyle Johnston. I don't think Carlos Anguiano moved. Jose Carrera Garcia just jumped over the top of him and gets the foul. What will the crowd think of that decision? We've seen the old undercut play at times. Harry Kane, the purveyor of that move, but that one certainly just looked like Jose Carrera Garcia came over the top. There's anything Anguiano could have done. Take another look at it here. On the 40. Yeah, that's a ridiculous decision by Kyle Johnston. He's right there too. What he wants me to, Anguiano saying, what do you want me to do? Just stood there. Back into him. Kyle Johnston's had a good game overall, but that is baffling.
Midense sends it over to Siobhan John Brown on the right-hand side. John Brown had that one glance off of Pollock. Corner kick for Central Valley.
Corner for Central Valley.
Jose Carrera Garcia from the right corner flag. 3 more minutes to go in this one. Ball comes in, takes a skip. Juggled out by Apollon. Mariona has that one deflect. Garner punches it away. Now Midense. Nice ball inside, headed away by Fricke. And now Greenville on the counterattack. Zakowski with Velasquez running. Switches the point of attack to McKinnon. McKinnon trying to play it across to Velasquez.
Yeah, definitely not the right decision there by McKinnon. Trying something spectacular. He had Velasquez inside of him, help coming from behind. Had numbers. This game just racing to a finish here, 100 miles an hour.
Siobhan John Brown on the other end. Tapping it back. Here's Midense. Chipping this one up, headed away by Lee. Midense, oh, nearly got back to him.
Smell the goal. Didn't quite get through to him.
Some contact there and a free kick for Greenville as Omar Lemus gets tangled up with Pollock. That's his 4th yellow card of the season. Brought to you by GSP Airport.
Professional foul there by Lemus, slowing down Tyler Pollock. Nice decision.
90 more seconds to go in this one, roughly.
Get a little bit added on for that card.
Jamie Smith, the one who now has throwing duties with Hayden Anderson back on the bench. Evan Lee steps it forward. Lee takes a shot. Midense bumping off Pollock. And that's a lovely ball going forward, but Christian Garner was ready for it.
Yeah, Tyler Pollock was on the other side of the field helping out. Good work by Garner. Trying to sweep the keeper to clear that one away. He had to.
Vasquez needs to be careful there. Heckenberg still on his feet. Chris Heckenberg tried to square it, and instead, you guessed it, another corner kick for Central Valley. Well, now they're actually going to say it's a goal kick.
Definitely pointed at the goal kick and got the call he wanted. He had the best view of all. This game's stretching out now, tired legs everywhere.
Zakowski launches this one inside, headed upward. Juggled and cleared by Jose Carrera Garcia. We've hit 95 minutes. Both sides with 2 goals in this one. Right now it looks like they're going to share the points unless we have a moment at the death. Polak to Herrera. Out to Velasquez. He sends it across. It's nodded away. Body's going down. No whistle blown. That's not the final whistle. Yellow card given to Chapa Herrera, his 6th of the season.
Second tackle of the night by the Greenville Triumph. Of the other football variety. That should probably do it here, Mark, I think. Once this one gets into the mixer.
Carlos Aviles will be doing what he can to launch it up the field.
Substitution for Central Valley. Entering the match, number 35.
So they're going to bring in Zachary Smug, 6'2", as this one's lofted down towards him.
Also, the referee has issued a caution on Greenville's number 8.
Comes in from Idense. Both teams just lofting the ball down the pitch, not knowing when the final whistle is going to sound now. Lemus can't get it through Polak. And there you have it. It was a game of highs and lows for both sides, but 2 goals apiece means 1 point apiece for both these teams at the end of it. A 2-2 draw between the Greenville Triumph and Central Valley Fuego. At the end of the day, Ross, I think you'd say a pretty fair result, but we'll talk more about it on the other end of this break.
What exactly is a Sully steamer? Our sandwiches are made to order, which means once you've taken a look at our big menu and narrowed down your options, we go to work. Our sandwiches are stuffed with fresh, flavorful ingredients and then placed in our special steamer until the sandwich gets warm and soft and fuses all the flavors together to achieve the peak of tastiness. Are you hungry yet?
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
We welcome you back here to Paladin Stadium for tonight's match presented by Fox Carolina, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. Mark Schoentz, Ross Davenport with you here. 2-2, your final score between the Greenville Triumph and Central Valley Fuego. Let's take a peek at how we got to this 2-2 scoreline after 90-plus minutes. Here are your post-game highlights here.
It was the first half. Fuego looking by far the better team. This was certainly a goal to remember. Freda Medense, a scorcher into the top left-hand corner of Garner's goal. Greenville certainly had some questions to answer at the half and didn't score a goal on open play in this game. Did get a goal on the penalty here as Gasky cut back in. Nemard trips him. Kyle Johnston points to the spot. Oh, the free kick here. Can we give penalties goal of the week, Mark? That should be a contender, I think.
Well, with the Midense goal also being scored in this game, I think the Midense goal probably takes the cake in this affair. These full-time highlights brought to you by GSP International Airport, by the way, as this is the one that gave Central Valley the lead, excuse me. A great, well-worked goal. Siobhan John Brown splits it between the legs of Pascal Corvino, but then just moments later, on the other end of things, to Sean Nemhard, it's going to be a moment he's going to want to forget.
Yeah, this game is certainly going to sort of feel like a 2-2 loss for Greenville and almost a 2-2 win for Fuego, because they really should have pulled this one out. Gave Greenville 2 goals, unfortunately, on the road after a gutsy display from the basement dwellers.
Here are your full-time stats presented by Coca-Cola. Next time these two teams will play, it's going to be a hot minute. October 2nd at home for Central Valley Fuego as they get back over to the West Coast to play Northern Colorado. Meanwhile, October 5th at home against Lexington, the next time Greenville play at 2 p.m. Eastern once again. With that in mind, it's where we'll wrap things up here on this broadcast on ESPN+. For our entire broadcasting crew, Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenstert. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. A couple other great games on tonight. Omaha and Knoxville might be one we're switching over to. But with that being said, this is where this show ends. We'll see you next time. Your final score, Greenville 2, Central Valley Fuego 2.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.